Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Yeah, it's probably time for me to get my lawn mowed before I do anything else. Yeah. Because this is getting tall. Yeah. It's getting pretty tall. Yeah, she's been sitting in that spot for just a little bit. Just a little bit. I guess it's one less spot I gotta mow. Oh yeah, it's mowing time. Now that I'm done butchering the lawn, which took way longer than I wanted it to because the entire backyard had to be mowed twice, once at a really high setting and once at the normal setting. And it's still pretty soupy out there. I'm just glad I didn't bury the mower. But what I think I want to do now is actually do a little bit of work on the Crown Vic. So as you guys know, I have this thing right here to replace the one that I have currently. It doesn't have anything right here. I guess there used to be a police interceptor badge there. So I've got these two things. I can either do Crown Victoria or police interceptor. What do you guys think? You think I should keep it as a regular police interceptor and put that badge on there? Or do I throw the Crown Vic on there and mess with people? As you guys know, the one on the back of my car, looks like somebody took a grinder to it and just really messed up this side of the plastic, because I guess there used to be a decal here from the fire department. So this whole thing needs to be switched out, and I think the lens, though, I think the reverse lens might have a little bit of a crack in it. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do today. And then just a little side note, as I mentioned in my other video, obviously I can't drive around with this particular plate on the car, but this is a replica of the one that was originally on the vehicle, so I thought that was kind of neat. Any Florida cop should have enough sense to know that the font is wrong. This is not the correct license plate font for Florida, so if they have a little bit of sense about them, you know, these numbers don't have all this curvature to it. It's very blocky in the Florida font, so yeah, this curve 9 is a dead giveaway that this is not an actual true Florida license plate. So, but I just thought it'd be neat to have a replica of the one that's actually, you know, originally on the car, so that when I do convert it back to being a fire department vehicle at some point, I'll have something that's similar but not exact, because clearly I'm not allowed to have the real one. If you guys are wondering, I actually picked this up on eBay. It was made by some company that makes replicas purely for show purposes, so that's what this is. But yeah, I guess what we'll do is go ahead and switch this bad boy out, and maybe I'll go ahead and use one of these things too. You can't really see it, but that's the little cover there, switch light covers for the interior. So I might add one of these too, or two. I think I'm missing two of them. So I guess that means I got to move this bad boy. Well, let's see if it starts. That's always a good sign, considering it's been sitting in here for a couple of weeks because the yard's been pretty slimy. You know, you'd almost think I was driving in snow. Look at that. Just from the wetness. Hey. Yeah, there you go. Time to see if the Crown Vic can make it back here. Like a glove. Whoa! These damn lizards. Look at that thing. Look at him. Get. I guess he's in here nesting or something. I don't know. But, that's right. I got a trunk pack. I should put that in here. Yeah. Guessing I should probably put this thing back up where it sort of belongs. I guess it wedges up here. Ah, safety triangles. And then, I guess I got some extra little washers and things from leftover equipment. I'll just put that back up there, sort of. I might have a vacuum cleaner somewhere. I should probably vacuum all this crust out of here. Let's see if I can find a vacuum. Probably the cheapest and most useful vacuum cleaner I've ever gotten. Basically, Home Depot bucket plus a $20 bucket head. So, got a cord, but dumps into a bucket. I like it. I think it's pretty simple, and it's cheap. I think the bucket head itself is like 20 bucks or something. So, pretty good for a vacuum cleaner that's real simple. Yeah, I even use this bad boy to just suck out all the leaves around the edge here. All gone. So, there you go. Much cleaner. I mean, by no means is it perfect, but it's a heck of a lot better than it was. I mean, the camera's going to pick up every little rinky-dink stain, but from a distance, you know, not in perfect lighting, it actually looks really good. So there you go. As you guys know, over here I've got this trunk organizer that's been hiding. Let me move all this crap out of the way. But this actually came out of the back of a City of Tampa police car that was over in the salvage yard. So scooped it up, wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. Was kind of curious to see if it would fit in the Impala because I didn't have a Crown Vic at the time. But now that I have a Crown Vic, there's only one natural place that this thing should go. Obviously in a Crown Vic. You guys can see I've got the trunk pack in here, which I think is actually a pretty good option because from what I've seen, every time you open and close the trunk here, water seems to drip down into the floor, and I think that this will catch some of it and hopefully prevent water from kind of gathering in the carpet and rusting the trunk. But the unintended consequence is, since this vehicle was never designed to have this in it, this fire extinguisher mount is kind of not in the ideal location, I guess you could say, because now it's kind of blocked. But I think I'll go ahead and suck that up because I think I'd much rather have this in here to help, you know, keep the water from getting soaked into the carpet and, you know, possibly rotting the trunk out over, you know, the trunk floor out over time. There we go. Went ahead and just put the triangles and the fire extinguisher, just laid them in here. What I may do is find a way to help, I guess, firm that up, maybe secure it a little better so it doesn't slide around when I turn. But yeah, I'd much rather use this, but I don't really want to pull that up and move it. I'd rather just leave it there for now. And then, of course, you know, this thing has some of the equipment still in the trunk, as you guys know. And then there's my full-size spare, which I don't know if that's original to the car or not. Yeah, maybe one of these days I should pull that out and take a look at it, but there we go. I guess now it's on to the rear lighting here. I guess the trunk piece. So I don't know how well you guys can see this, but that's what I was talking about. The lens here is all cracked. There's like little spiderweb cracks in it. I don't know if you can see it. So this lens is actually messed up, but on the bright side, I don't actually have any strobes going into those that I can see. So it should come off pretty nicely. Just got to undo a bunch of stuff. So basically, in order to take this thing off, there's a bunch of these little pieces here, these little, I guess, little nuts, I guess, for lack of a better word. Basically, they just unscrew, and then there's weather stripping in here that has to be kind of broken so that this piece can actually pop off. And I think there's a couple other, yeah, there's one right there that's hiding. You don't actually have to take the trunk lock out, but you do have to disconnect the lights since the lights are actually coming out. And then I might have to take these off too. I don't remember if it's actually attached or, yeah, it is attached, that's right, because this is actually attached to something in the car, in the trunk lid itself. So it's unfortunate that even though this side is pretty, this side is ruined. So there we go. Alright, so in case you guys are wondering, this is a 10mm right here, and then this one and these are all 7mm. So you'll need at least a 10mm and a 7mm, and you might want kind of a long socket so that you can get into some of these tighter spots, like right there. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but there's one tucked in that hole there, and then there's one tucked in next to the trunk lock. So there you go. Once you loosen all those up, take all the bolts off, or I should say all the nuts off there, and the screws and everything. Like I said, you'll have to disconnect the light bulbs. That will have to, I guess, pop off and maybe slide through the hole if you want to keep the original one, or you just switch it out with, you know, another one if you got one from the salvage yard and decided to take it with you. So, let me keep working on it. All right. So after you have all the screws out and you've gotten this thing to kind of sort of get out of your way, you have a choice to make. There is a piece of weather stripping all the way around this. And depending on how old your car is, it might be rotted and completely useless, but it's going to have just a little bit of stickiness. And there's a lot of different ways you can ruin this, but you can literally take one of these scrapers and kind of start down here, and I'm not saying dig into the paint, but just enough to just kind of pop it apart. And then when you're up here, you can kind of do the same thing, just kind of twist a little bit and make it pop. Depending on how much you love your Crown Vic will depend on if you use this or something plastic. I didn't have anything plastic around, so I just very carefully used I guess that's, I don't know what that is, like a putty knife or scraper or something. But basically what you want to do is break that seal so that this whole piece is loose. So there you go. This is kind of what it should look like. Nice and loose. And another interesting thing that happened with mine is I actually broke a couple of these little nut things, so that was a little unexpected, but it happened. So let me go ahead and fish this thing for real and see if I can't just take this whole assembly off. I guess I've got a little point here where the the reverse lights are actually taped to it, but as you can see, it's no longer attached to the car minus those couple pieces of tape. So I guess I better handle that real quick before I keep trying to go on with this. Actually, those pieces weren't held on by tape. There's a little stud here that they were kind of just snapped onto with the, where'd that thing go? Oh, here we go. Looking on the wrong side of the trunk with these things. So this was just kind of pushed on there, pressure fit, and kind of held into place. So there you go. That's what it looks like. I've got to figure out how to get this thing off. So, you know, your screws should have just straight holes like this, but I had two that broke. So basically the plastic wasn't any good and it just kind of cracked. But I've got to figure out how to get that thing off, and then I got one over here that refused to come off too. So basically a pair of vice grips and maybe some WD-40, I can pop those jokers free. But there you go. That's what it looks like underneath when the paint is unmolested by nature, I guess. So almost there. Here we are side by side. So the top one is the original one to the car. You can see it's ruined there. This one is a lot better. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's a heck of a lot better than looking at that. On this side, this one is just a hair duller, but something I thought that's kind of interesting. See how this one has little peg holes in it? If you pick this up and move it, there's no little peg holes back there. The other interesting thing I noticed is when you flip both of these things over, So I guess when I was taking this one off, I ran into the same issue. So this one broke off here, but this one didn't. This one did. This one didn't. And then on this side, well, they match. But this I thought was kind of interesting. So right here's the hole for the trunk, right? For the keyhole. And you've got this peg right here sticking out of the top of this, I guess, little stand piece. On the newer one, they move the peg over. So I don't know what that means, if that matters, but apparently on the newer models they decided it needed to be slid over a little bit for some reason. Another fascinating thing is the date stamp on the plastic is exactly the same. So that means they never changed date stamp when they made these. They just kept making them exactly the same over and over and over again. But there you go. This is what the backside looks like. Looks like I'm gonna have to fish out I guess the piece that broke on the driver's side so that this one can go in its place. A smart man would put some sort of, you know, coating or something in here, another gasket, something a little better, but I'm just going to leave it be because I don't know, I'm just not that concerned about it. I mean, these other gaskets were pretty much failing anyway, so water's still going to get back there either way. At least that's the way it looks to me. I've hand tightened these pieces right here. I'm going to run back over them with a socket wrench. I've still got to put this stuff back together. But as you can see, it's going back together quite nicely and should look pretty good once everything's locked down. And so I got to put this bad boy back in place too, so should all look pretty good when I'm done. The other thing that you got to remember is, excuse me, the little clips that connect to the back side over the license plate housing. Make sure you snap those back on too, because it helps keep your wires where they're supposed to be so that you don't crush them or pinch them. So there you go. Just got to put the other two nuts on, and then the other pieces around the license plate and license plate bolt light. So a quick note, this is where the lock goes for the trunk. And remember I was saying the stud's a little off center? Well, on this newer car, they've got the opening there slotted so that it can still bolt on, which is kind of nice. I think the reason why they did this is because that cable could possibly get in the way of your wrench and be kind of a pain in the neck, so they kind of moved it a little sideways. But this helps pull that plastic down around your key lock so that it fits nice and snug. Kind of neat. Quick note about tightening these down. I would not go all He-Man on these things and, you know, really crank down on them. I'd just make them a little bit more than hand tight because they are connected into the plastic of the actual trunk piece right here. So if you tighten them down too hard, you'll probably break the plastic. So there you go. I got all these kind of tightened down, and then just got to put those bolts in there, and we'll take a look and see what it looks like. So there it goes. Looks a heck of a lot better in my opinion. You don't have that nasty, rutted dugout area. But like I said, guys, what do you guys think? Police Interceptor or Crown Victoria, since I do have the little peg holes for the word Crown Victoria. See, everything's in there nice and pretty. And the trunk tray. Oh yeah. So there we go. Nice new clean rear end on this. Just wish the one I would have got didn't have the little bit of overspray on it, but I guess that's how it goes sometimes. May have to give in and accept the fact that there's going to be overspray on this because, well, when they did the roof with rattle cans or whatever they used, there's a little bit of overspray on some stuff up here too, so kind of annoying, but probably do need to invest in a paint job soon before this thing rusts out on me. Or maybe some rattle cans. For those of you who don't recall the interior setup on this car, there is a siren head here which is completely disconnected. Light switching here to turn on the exterior lights, which right now is powered, but when and if I do start driving this thing around a little bit more regularly, I'm actually going to deactivate this stuff so that it can't accidentally be bumped and turned on while I'm driving down the road, because yeah, that wouldn't be good for anybody. I'm also going to get an an out of service, I guess, license plate for the front of the car, just in case there's any question. And then, as you guys may or may not remember, I have a Motorola head here. I don't remember what this one is, but it's another basically CB head. There's a speaker for this one, and then I think this one has its speaker over here. A couple of, I guess this is Maxcom, but it goes to that one. And this one is missing the Motorola hand mic. So if there's anybody out there that has a hand mic for a Motorola, let me know. I might be interested. Got my little sockets here. Interior piggyback, or piggyback. I was thinking piggy bank. Money. Actually, cubby hole or glove box or whatever you want to call that. But you guys may recall, P71 guy sent me some covers, which may or may not fit in these holes, so let's find out. Alright, so I've got two of these little guys out, and we will see if they fit. Ah, and they fit quite nicely. That will be perfect. I know that underneath of these are actually hooked. The ones that are here are actually hooked into the electronics on the backside here, inside the box. So that's how they get their light power. There's actually no individual light bulbs. It's like an LED or something that's part of the actual cover. But that's fine, because I'm actually glad to have some sort of cover to cover these up. I believe one of these, I don't remember which one, I think it's this one, is a dead switch. It doesn't actually do anything. These are the, might be this one. This is the corner strobe. I think this is the front light. These are the side lights on the back of the car, obviously. This might be the dead one. I think this used to be a headlight flasher, but I'm not 100% sure. One of these two doesn't work, and I think it's this one. This is the rear flasher, the rear lights on the back, which we'll get to on another video because some of them are kind of wearing out. And then these two right here are your left-right controls to turn it into an arrow stick. So if you turn this on and turn it here, it'll sequence to the left. If you click this one, it'll sequence to the right. If you turn them both on, it'll do center out. So there you go. Huge thank you to P71 guy for this, I guess, the covers there. Those are going to work out really well. As always, I really appreciate you guys stopping by. Thank you for checking out the video. If you like the content, please subscribe. If you want to know when it's coming out, go ahead and click that bell. If you have anything, thoughts, and any ideas on whether or not I should do Police Interceptor or Crown Victoria on the back of the car, let me know down in the comments. And I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great time. Love to all of you. Good morning. In case you guys are wondering why it takes me so long to get back to you when you send me messages and stuff, that's the sunrise. I don't know if you can see that, but it's 6:04 in the morning. Yeah. They keep me busy. They keep me real busy. Perfect example of Florida. Dry right here. Crazy weather conditions up here. Can't even see the highway sign. Look at this. Bam! There it is.